Security assessment and testing. Conduct security control testing. Security control is implemented through the use of an IT asset. These IT assets are configured hardware devices or software deployed within an organizational network. Security control testing can include testing of the physical facility, logical systems, and applications. Security control testing are vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, log reviews, synthetic transactions, code review and testing, misuse case testing, test coverage analysis and interface testing. A vulnerability assessment is the process of identifying, quantifying, and prioritizing the vulnerabilities in a system. A vulnerability assessment helps to identify the areas of weakness in a network. A vulnerability testing tool such as Nessus or OpenVAS may be used to identify the vulnerabilities. Penetration testing is the process of simulating attack on systems to bypass automated security controls. A penetration tester is a white hat hacker who receives authorization to attempt to break into an organization's physical or electronic perimeter, and sometimes both. Penetration tests are designed to determine whether black hat hackers could do the same. Phases of penetration testing are: Phase 1, discovery or reconnaissance. Phase 2, scanning and probing. Phase 3, exploitation. Phase 4, post-exploitation. Phase 5, reporting findings. In the discovery or reconnaissance phase, pen tester gathers information regarding the target system and network. The scanning and probing phase, using the information gathered in the first phase to identify potential targets and gather more detailed information. The exploitation phase is attempting to gain unauthorized access by exploiting vulnerabilities. Post-exploitation phase is attack continues using information gathered from the prior 3 phases. The reporting phase is the final phase. Penetration tester gathers all of their findings and compiles them into one or more reports. Typically, an executive-level report is created. A log is a recording of events that occur on an organizational asset, including systems, networks, devices, and facilities. Log review is the examination of system log files to detect security events or to verify the effectiveness of security controls. The goal is to review logs to ensure they can support information security as effectively as possible. Reviewing security audit logs within an IT system verify that access control mechanisms are performing effectively. Synthetic transactions are real-time actions or events that automatically execute on monitored objects. Synthetic transactions can be used for application monitoring, service monitoring, database monitoring, TCP port monitoring, and network services. Application monitoring is an application responsive, and does it respond to queries and input as expected? Service monitoring is a selected service responding to requests in a timely manner, such as a website or file server. Database monitoring are back-end databases online and responsive? TCP port monitoring are the expected ports for an application or service open, listening, and accepting connections. Network services are the DNS and Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP, servers responding to queries? Is the domain controller authenticating users? When software developers write software, the written software is referred to as code. Code review and testing are systematically examining application source code to identify bugs, mistakes, inefficiencies, and security vulnerabilities in software programs. Online software repositories, such as Mercurial and Git, enable software developers to manage source code in a collaborative development environment. A code review can be accomplished manually by carefully examining code changes visually. A code review can be accomplished by using automated code reviewing software, such as IBM AppScan Source, HP Fortify, and CA Veracode. Testing and code review techniques are automated versus manual testing, black box versus white box testing, dynamic versus static testing. Testing can be conducted with software tools, which automates the examination of the code. This can allow the code to be reviewed quickly. However, an automated tool may miss certain issues. Software developers have different styles, and applications can be increasingly complex. Manual testing may take longer. A skilled manual tester may spot issues that are not evident to the one-size-fits-all automated scanner. The accuracy and thoroughness of manual testing are highly dependent upon the skill of the individual reviewing the code. In black box testing, the testing is performed without any internal knowledge of the workings of the application. For instance, the source code is not available in black box testing, requiring black box testing to be conducted by running the application itself. White box testing includes more detailed information regarding the inner workings of the application. For instance, source code is often reviewed in white box testing. In dynamic testing, the code being tested is actually run. Static testing is the examination of the system without executing the code. It can be done with a set of tools, automatically or manually. Code review processes are pair programming, over-the-shoulder code review, pass-around code reviews, tool-assisted reviews. Pair programming is an agile software development technique that places two developers at one workstation. One developer writes code, while the other reviews it. Over-the-shoulder code review requires one developer to write code while the other watches and reviews the code. Pass-around code reviews work by sending code to reviewers who check the code at a later date. Tool-assisted reviews rely on a formal or informal tool to ensure that code is reviewed. Fuzz testing is an automated approach to testing a running application that uses a fuzzer, an application designed to test another application, by sending unexpected data to the application. The tester can then observe how the application responds to receiving the random data from the fuzzer. Misuse case testing tests an application to ensure that the application can handle invalid input or unexpected behavior. Misuse case testing ensure that an application will not crash and to improve the quality of an application by identifying its weak points. When misuse case testing is performed, organizations should expect to find issues. Test coverage analysis measures the percentage of source code that is tested by a given test. Four main types of coverage criteria are branch coverage, condition coverage, function coverage, statement coverage. Branch coverage ensures that each branch in a control statement has been executed. Condition coverage requires each Boolean expression to be validated for both true and false conditions. Function coverage makes sure that every function in the program is called. Statement coverage validates the execution of every statement in the program. Interface testing evaluates whether an application's systems or components correctly pass data and control to one another. Interfaces that should be tested are client interfaces, server interfaces, remote interfaces, graphical user interfaces, GUIs, application programming interfaces, APIs, external and internal interfaces and physical interfaces. GUI testing involves testing a product's GUI to ensure that it meets its specifications through the use of test cases. API testing tests APIs directly in isolation and as part of the end-to-end transactions.